Let's bring in John Beck on the Deseret First Credit Union hotline. John, how you doing today?
Good, guys.
Good. So you don't like the Twitter pic that we're sending out is what I gather from Twitter?
That is like the pick that I least like that somehow I cannot escape. Like, you know when you're out at dinner and you like are with friends or something and they're like, dude, you have to see what I just found. 99% of the time, they've somehow come across that pic and they think it's hilarious. And I'm like, can I please escape that mullet pic?
What were you thinking or doing during that picture? What was going on? Why do you have that face?
I mean, it looks like I'm smelling something bad. That's what it looks like.
That helps, right? A mullet with that face.
I have no idea. I mean, I'm glad I did the mullet. Since I was a little kid, I wanted a mullet. I can never have a mullet again because of all the pictures that are out there, but I'm glad I did it.
Listen, that David Nixon, Brian Keel pick is worse, okay?
Ooh,
right?
Yeah.
Do you know what picture I'm talking about?
I do. They're like laying down next to each other like at BYU photo day, right?
Yeah,
yes.
That's pretty bad.
And then there's Dennis Pitta and Max Hall and Austin Collie.
That's the one that I get those guys with always. If ever there's anything like Dennis, I'm sure just loves that you guys put that picture up of me today. I'm probably going to get a text, and all I got to do is say, well, that's okay. At least I don't have this picture out on me, and it's that one of them.
Dennis will be on the show tomorrow, so I guarantee we'll show that picture as well. That'll be fun. Okay, we've been talking about this in the spirit of Taysom Hill's possible return. If you could have a player back next year from this year's BYU team, who would it be? I said Taysom Hill. Brian threw a curveball with Jamal Williams, although we do expect him to return next year. What's your answer to this question?
You know, that's tough because I can see reasons for some other guys as well, like Bronson. To have somebody like that dominant on defense, it's a quarterback's best friend. It's, you know, to know that he's going to go out there and just dominate and he's going to give you some sack yardage, that's great. I also think of guys like Mitch Matthews. This entire year, I've seen that guy pull down throws that were just being thrown because it's Mitch. And we see it all the time of just Tanner trusting, I got a guy 6'6" that I know is going to go up and make a play, and he's done it time and time again. But in my final answer, I'm going to add something to it, and I'm going with you, Brian. I think if I can have somebody back next year that I know is going to stay healthy for all 13 games, that's what I want to add to it. I'm going with Jamal because I think this guy's a special player. And I think that having him in the lineup every single game changes things. If we would have him this year, it would add a whole other dimension. And I remember watching him as a 17-year-old freshman, and I was impressed, knowing if this is where he's at 17, where is he going to be able to be 4 years from now? So I want to see that guy be able to play 13 games next year because I think he's a special player.
Well, you know, I think you might have answered my next question because it's interesting you brought up Mitch Matthews. I was going to ask you, as a quarterback, would you rather have somebody in the backfield that can alleviate the pressure by you not really doing much, right? Just hand the ball off? Or would you rather have an outlet, somebody that you can go to in passing situations, crucial situations, by having a receiver like Mitch Matthews?
That's a great question, and there's a question that does not have a perfect answer, or one that can answer the same all the time, because I know what it's like to have a dynamic athlete behind me in the running back, and it does alleviate, because when you can hand the ball off and he can punch 7-8 yards and now leave you a 3rd and 2, or on 3rd and 2 to 3, you just turn the hand it off and now he gets the first down. That's huge. I was fortunate to play with somebody that was dynamic out of the backfield and catching the ball as well, in Curtis Brown. That was so huge to have somebody like that I could count on. But I will say this. On the days that the running game is not working, because the running game is not just about the running back, you have to have a line. It does not matter how good he is. If you don't have a line, you don't have a running back. So on days when the running game is not working, the line's having some trouble, having somebody like Mitch, you have to have that. So the answer can go both ways, and I see reasons for both. And it's just kind of the flavor of the day. If my running game's working, give me my dynamic runner. If my running game's not working, I have to have a receiver that I know I can go to, man coverage, or he's got a guy on him, and just give him a chance, and he's going to come down with it.
Well, and this makes maybe Jaren's point. I can't believe I'm agreeing with this. But to have Taysom back, if the running game isn't working, and let's say you do have an elite pass or receiver, maybe you don't, but the running game isn't working, you can still take the running game into your own hands, right, by running the ball.
And John, you prefaced your answer with that I think, we'll stay healthy 13 games. Do you have hesitation in this hypothetical situation because of Taysom Hill's injury history?
No, here's my thing, and here's why I didn't say Taysom, because I want what's best for Taysom. I know him too well, and, I know Cougar Nation wants to have Taysom back, but I have an opportunity to be around some of the best athletes there is in football for, a long time. I've been doing this. And I also get a chance to be around a lot of quarterbacks. Taysom is so special with the abilities that he has. I want what's best for Taysom. And, who knows if coming back to BYU is going to be the best thing for Taysom? Who knows if playing football is going to be the best thing for Taysom? Football only means so much in life. And I've had this conversation with Taysom before. And he's kind of at that point. So maybe playing football is not the best thing for Taysom for the long run. I care about the guy. And I want he, his wife, his family, everybody just to be able to have the best for Taysom, because outside of being a special athlete, you get a chance to be around the guy a little bit. He is a special person. So I just want what's best for him. Football, non-football, it don't matter. But I will say this. The last 2 years I've had an opportunity to be around Tim Tebow a ton. And there's a Heisman Trophy guy. And if I got to pick, do I want to have Tim Tebow or Taysom Hill? I'm picking Taysom Hill. And it's no knock to Tim, because I really like Tim as a guy. I really like him. He's a great worker and everything. But I think that Taysom has more than Tim. And Tim was a Heisman Trophy winner.
Do you think that it's best for Taysom Hill to play next year? If he asked you, and maybe he has, what's your answer there?
Oh, that's so hard to say, because for a long time in my life, the huge part of me was do anything and everything for football. And I tried everything and everything for football. And you know what? My experience has taught me, sometimes there's just stuff out of your control. And ultimately, football is not life. And I know that BYU football fans get frustrated every time that Bronco Mendenhall mentions that football is like 3 or 4.
5, actually.
Because they come to me. I'll be out at these events, and I meet these donors, and they're like, why in the crap is Bronco Mendenhall telling everybody that football is 4? Well, guess what? Because that guy has experienced enough things that he knows what is the most important thing in life. We are BYU. What is BYU? BYU is that there is more important things in life than football.
Yep.
Right? So we have to stay that. We have to keep that. That's who we are as a people. And I love that about Bronco, and I think the same for Taysom. Taysom, I don't know what's going to be best for you. I don't know what the doctors are going to say. I would love to see him play more football. He's a talented enough player to be a Heisman Trophy winner. He's a talented enough player to play on Sundays. I'd love to see him do that. But at the same time, I also know you can sacrifice everything, give up all kinds of stuff, work your living tail off, believe, be confident, all that stuff. There's no guarantee. There's just no guarantee that it's going to work out. But what you can guarantee is that you can have a family, be the best father you can be, the best husband you can be. There's a lot of things. Okay, so man, you kind of got I'm going right now.
Preach,
preach,
brother.
Up right now.
Yeah,
preach, brother.
You're going. John Beck is on BYU Sports Nation. A lot of this conversation, depends on Tanner Mangum too, and it's an interesting one because BYU is in a situation where you do have overlap, like in the past, where BYU's had good quarterbacks, and it's been nice to hand the torch off to one and then have another good one. So Tanner Mangum is now 222 yards away from 3,000. What will it mean Saturday when he most likely gets that and gets to 3,000 to have the first freshman quarterback in BYU history with 3,000 passing yards in a season?
I just think it's a huge accomplishment, not only for Tanner but for the program as well. For him to be prepared enough to be able to just come off of a mission and in a few months perform the way that he's playing. The preparation that he must have had coming into this situation prepared him very well. So it goes to show the work that Tanner put in before he got to BYU and the type of player that he is. Also, I think it goes to show where the program's at. To take a freshman where you weren't building your offseason around Tanner. You were building your season around Taysom. So all the stuff that you're doing from an offensive standpoint was built for Taysom. And then all of a sudden, like that guy's gone. So think of the overhaul or the editing, the cutting out, what they had to do to the offense to say, man, all the work that we put in to make this Taysom's offense, now he's not the guy. We now need to cut and edit this thing to make it fit our young guy. And how well do they know their young guy? They had him for what, a month in training camp? it's not like they had him a whole offseason and say, what does this guy do well? Like, how can we work with him? What's this and that? They had to just fly by the seat of their pants for a few weeks, I would imagine, and say, all right, guys, let's keep it simple. Let's not ask this guy to do too much. And I think that was smart. So I think the program, the coaches, to plug in Tanner with the experience that he had and where he was at, and to put together what could be a 10-win season, I think it's a combination of so many things. But it is great. It just goes to show when a guy is prepared like Tanner's been prepared, when he's that type of player, and when the coaches and the players around him can get things done right, this is what can happen. You can take a freshman and have an amazing accomplishment like 3,000 yards.
Absolutely. John, great stuff as always. We appreciate the time. We'll see what we can do about that mullet pick, and we will give Dennis.
Hey, you guys got to do me one other favor. I hope you didn't already do it. Don't go throwing up a thing on Twitter about John Beck says that Taysom is better than Tim, because guess what phone call I'm going to get? I'm going to get Tim being like, Beck, what are you doing, bro? You throwing me under the bus. Because, hey, listen, Tim's great. When he and I were out of football for 2013, we played pickup football games up at USC all the time. He was the quarterback of one team. I was the quarterback of the other team. So he's a good friend. I don't need a phone call from Tim being like, you throwing me under the bus for your boy Taysom? Because that's exactly what he would do. So, hey, we leave it on BYUtv. They got to tune into BYUtv to see my statement.
A fan can tweet it out.
Yeah,
we didn't even bring up Tim. You did, John.
That's true. We may get a fan off the street and tell him to tweet it, and then it's not on us. So
I still stand by it, though. I found both of them. Taysom's a stud.
They're both fantastic. John, we appreciate the time.
All right, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you.